Now, they are a party for years on the fringes of life in Finland, but suddenly, dramatically even, the populist Finns party has come in second place in the country's elections. Now, it leaves the party, which has extreme views on immigration and whether Finland should assist financially struggling countries like Greece, in an incredibly strong position, likely, in fact, candidates to get into bed with the Centrists who topped the poll. Well, Alex Bourdon and Juha have this report for us.
1 week after Finnish parliamentary elections, and there's still a euphoric feeling amongst members of the Finns party. The champagne's been flowing after the party's excellent result. They took the second biggest share of the vote behind the Centrists. It's a long journey from their previous position at the margins of Finnish political life. Some of its members look set to enter government, but party leader Timo Soini remains cautious.
I'm happy, but that's it. Prior the government, I don't comment to the foreign media. You are not an exception. It goes for everybody. Nothing. When inside, then.
This is the closest Timo Soini has come to power so far in the 20 years since he founded the party. He's already said he wants to be foreign minister, but it will be future centrist Prime Minister Juha Sipila who decides. However, the question over how the two parties could work together remains unanswered. Following the 2011 elections, the Finns took a surprise 19% of the vote and yet were not given a role in government. Former European Commissioner Olli Rehn remembers the negotiations.
Due to their very hard rhetoric against immigration and their very hard policies against the Eurozone rescue operations for Portugal or Greece, it was virtually impossible to consider them in a coalition government. More recently, they have somewhat moderated their positions on certain issues.
The party has even changed its name for these elections in an effort to soften up its image. The true Finns have become merely the Finns. For this centrist MP and potential future minister, an alliance with the Finns party is not out of the question, despite their outbursts in the past, particularly on the subject of immigration.
If we rely on the speeches of their leader, Timo Soini, the true Finns are not a racist party. There may have been isolated cases involving that kind of remark, but there is already that sort of thing going on at the European Parliament.
Sen tyyppisiä kommentteja on ollut, mutta ainakin yksi heistä on Euroopan parlamentissa.
This may be a reference to Jussi Halla-aho, an MP who was convicted of ethnic agitation. In 2011, he was temporarily suspended for publishing extreme views about Greece on social networks. He said that the southern European country's debt problems couldn't be solved without a military junta. The party now makes every attempt to put less controversial figures in front of the cameras. The euroscepticism is still there, but toned down.
Finland does pay a lot more for EU than gets back from EU. But in the last term of the European Parliament, the federalism went onwards with such long steps that people don't want to see EU forming as a federal state. And that is our message, and that really speaks to people, and they understand it.
Now the Finns party may finally get hold of power. This Finnish columnist has followed their development since they first appeared and now says the time is ripe for a coalition.
They have been trying very hard during the last 4 years to be a sort of mainstream party. They have this nationalistic fraction, but Soini and other party leaders are trying to distance himself from that group. They are not so right-wing, for example, like in Sweden, the right-wing party, or like in France, the right-wing party.
At the last European elections, MEPs from the Finns party refused to sit with other nationalist parties like the French National Front, preferring the company of the UK Conservatives instead.
Juha and Alex Bourdon there reporting from Finland for today's Focus.